Am I in frame?
You're in the frame.
Are you in the frame?
I'm in the frame.
Okay. So, are we talking to each other? Are we talking to the camera?
To each other, but it's...
Because the camera is looking at us.
Yeah.
So we should be talking to the camera, right?
I guess.
Because if it's a podcast...
They won't see it.
No, but like... A podcast lends more to
Is
us.
that straight?
I don't know.
You're the one
You're the
looking.
one looking at the screen.
Okay.
No, a podcast is us talking to each other and people listening in. Because we're not looking at... You right? Yeah, you're missing your backrest.
I went to lean back.
Just move up slightly. Okay. Because in a podcast form, we can just there's no actual
audio.
camera. There's just audio. So we just look at each other and just talk because we're having a conversation, and they listen in. But if as soon as there's a camera there, anyone watching is looking at us like
They're not paying attention.
expecting us to look at the camera,
Yes. No.
right?
We'll have a conversation. They can watch us having a conversation.
So we're going to be facing this the whole time.
Well, I don't know. We can be looking off into...
Anyway, as you might have been able to tell, completely unplanned.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I talking to them now, or am I talking to you?
I don't know.
Right?
This is completely unfair.
Yes, and you were trying to plan stuff, and I was like, no, I've been told that this is unplanned.
Okay. Then that takes the pressure off it because it's not planned.
Yeah, but also like, yeah, I guess.
You want it to be unplanned
I don't know.
from the start.
Anyway, the general idea, as far as I've been told, I know I'm fiddling with shit.
I know, that's okay. He doesn't
It's
know.
probably really frustrating.
Yes. Eden's going to explain the idea because I was going to explain it to him. So what,
I'm sad now.
why?
I was trying to beat you to it. I was gonna say.
What, push it back on me?
No. I was gonna do something, but you've kind of ruined it.
Oh, okay, you do it. Do it anyway.
I was gonna say something along the lines of, so Knox here has very clearly said this is gonna be unplanned, and we're just gonna pick something and talk about it. Right?
Yeah.
And then you were supposed to jump in and question why I called you that. And then I was gonna say, well, that's your code name, obviously.
Oh, we
Right?
can do that. We can just edit it out.
Right?
But then I said your name.
Yeah. So you're obviously Knox, and I'm
Okay.
Lumos, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is why we do this. This is fun.
So apparently, pick a word and talk about it. And it was going to be a very intense word, as far as I can tell.
Yes. I was like, pick a word from a hat.
Yeah, but like
we need a hat.
the examples of the words you gave
Oh,
were
yeah.
not light subjects necessarily.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, well, tell them the words that you were thinking of.
Okay. So, what was the first one I said?
Like you had life
Death.
and death. You said death first.
Okay.
You did. You started
I
with
said
that.
death.
And I was like, okay, is that what I'm getting myself into? Talk
Death.
about mortality.
Happiness, loneliness, pain, time,
Pain.
space. One word to spark a conversation.
Right.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Cool. Should we do that? Oh, we're going on aliens. Do you want to do aliens today?
Well, because Mum suggested aliens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. Let's start with life.
I don't necessarily want to rehash the brief conversation we had.
No. That's why we're going to start with life.
Great.
Okay. I gotta ask a question about life. Oh, I'm thinking. Now I'm thinking about the other one. Does life exist on other planets?
Yeah. No, that's you
No,
can't
I
overlap
can't.
much. Well, I don't know. Maybe we
that's
can.
too much.
But yeah, I suppose they're very similar. Because you've got life in terms of like physical, biological life, life forms,
And
life
then
here, life elsewhere.
lifestyle.
And then you've got like life as in like actually like living what it means to be human.
Yes.
Right?
And then that ties into death, and this is why we probably.
Well, yeah, like it's all linked, isn't it?
Everything. It's fine. We can just like pause for like 5 minutes as we try and work this out.
Yeah, of course.
At first, when I was thinking of this before, I was like, I need to do this with my brother. I was like, oh, I'll just do this by myself, and then I was.
So you have no idea what to talk about.
No, but the problem is, I ask my question to myself, and then I have to answer it.
Yeah.
And then I have nothing to like bounce back off,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then I just answer it, and then it's done.
Yeah, you need that break in the conversation where somebody else is talking for you to sort of think of
Yes.
what to say as well. So there's no like big pauses. Yeah. See, that was where you jumped in and stopped me from having a big pause, right?
No, I was trying to hold the pause, so it was long.
Wow. Of course you were. Sabotaging us already. first 5 minutes. Oh, for God's sake.
Puppy.
And that's Padfoot.
Yeah. Just throwing in slaughter references. Okay.
Life. Is that where we're starting?
Do you want to start with life?
I don't know.
See, this is the problem with doing it with your brother.
Hey, come on, what have I done? I've been running the show, quite frankly.
Yeah, to be fair. Well, you were like waiting for me to think of it. I can't think of it.
I think of what? You had a question.
A topic, and then like, so I have the idea of like a topic which then leads to questions
Right.
as naturally as possible. So do you have a question that we can then tie to a topic if that's easier?
I feel like if I had a question, I would have asked you already.
Yeah, I know. This is the problem. This is why it's unplanned.
That's sort of a blessing and a curse.
Gives you more. Oh, that is a giant ant
Where?
on the stick
Where?
near the bucket.
Oh, it's miles away.
Yeah, but it's giant and
Oh,
Dad
there
got
could be
big.
more right here.
Yeah. Okay, life.
Yes. It's a thing that exists.
Let's start with an ant.
Alright. Such as that big one over there.
Yes.
What type of ant is that?
I have no idea.
I'm just going to call it in chat because I know those are a thing and that's what it looks like.
Yes, it does. Okay. So, bull ants have one of the most powerful hurty things.
Hurty things. Is it considered a venom when it's an ant?
I don't know if it's from the actual bite, like the force of the bite, or the venom, if they inject venom into you. Like a bee, obviously, it's the venom reacting with your body.
You do call it venom when it's a bee, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, bull ants, and
Bull
other-
ants.
There's bullet, and then there's the bull ones that we
A
have.
bull ant's a species of ant, or is that like a male, like, fighter ant?
Oh, maybe that's the same term, but I'm pretty sure we called these ones that we have, like the small black ones that hurt when they bite, bull ants.
Do we?
Yeah. They're like this big.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
I just call them ants. Generic Australian, Western Australian ants.
Yeah, but then you have like the tiny ones. How many species of ants?
Lots. Probably lots.
And I mean, there's probably
Have you lined up all the ants in
in the world. Yeah. Wrap around the world 15,000 times.
we're not going to explain that.
All the waste you throw out, if you put it in dumpster trucks, it would circle the earth 24 times.
24 times.
24 times.
So now here's the question, right? Is that 24 times the diameter of the Earth?
Or stacking them on top
Or
of each other.
is it, yeah, because so say you're in the middle of the Earth, around the equator, and you line them all up, and now you've done one ring, and now you've still got lots more trucks.
Yes. Is
So-
it the same ring
so,
again? Is that what
Do you make an identical ring of the same size, or do you put the trucks on top, and now your
And
ring's getting bigger?
Bigger.
Because technically, in that case, you're making a cylinder if they're all the same size.
Yes.
You've got to put them next to each other because you can't physically put them on top because it makes the ring bigger. So you would eventually just have a cylinder the diameter of the Earth.
That just extends on and on. I wonder how tall that would be if it was a garbage truck. 24 times the height of the garbage truck.
No, it'd be the width because are you putting them next to each other?
No, lining them. I think it's line. I always thought of lining them up.
But then would it go on top and wrap?
As in like,
It wouldn't be 24 times the height because you need more trucks to make a loop. So it'd be less. It'd be like,
no, but like if you were just doing the circumference of the earth and making the cylinder.
yeah, so then it'd be the width of the truck to make how high the cylinder would be. Because you gotta,
Oh, yeah,
Wouldn't it?
oh, the height, the width. Yeah, if you were lining them up.
if you made a ring,
Yeah.
and then you didn't want to make a bigger ring, so you'd have to put the truck next to the previous ring.
Well, I guess
And
it,
you made
it
a
depends.
cylinder.
It depends if you stack it sideways, lengthwise, or on top of each other.
No,
Circles,
but
the circles could be stacked on top of each other.
if you make,
The trucks could be stacked like on top of each other
yeah,
rather than
yeah.
side
So
to
what
side.
what that does is now your circle has more trucks in it, so it wouldn't be 24 tons anymore.
No, but still okay, so if you imagine the earth and then the truck on the side, it's not stacking out into space, making it bigger. It's stacking.
Okay. You got your one. got a line of
I'm
trucks.
imagining the truck on its side pressed onto the earth.
So why?
No, no. When I take the trucks away from the earth to create the cylinder in my head, I change their orientation.
So you've got your ring, you're pulling it off the earth, making a new ring on the earth, and then taking that off and then putting them together differently. So what?
Like, originally the truck would have its wheels on the earth, right?
Yeah.
When I take them and move them into space, they then orientate themselves straight.
So okay, let me explain what I was thinking about. You originally said, would it be 24 times the height of the truck? And I said, don't you mean the width? So what I was thinking was, you had a ring of trucks that are all like have their wheels, so that on the bottom they're upside down.
Yeah.
They all have their wheels on the earth. And then you make another ring that's the same diameter here, and then here, and you end up with a cylinder, but because they're all normal trucks this way, it's the width of the truck
Yes.
added up makes the height of your cylinder.
Yes.
Or you have your trucks going around the earth like this, and they stack on top of each other like that. And you might naively think, oh, it must be 24 high because there's 24 laps. But the higher you go, the more trucks is required in each loop, so you'd have less loops.
Yes.
So you'd have less than 20. So I don't know how many, but it would be less than 24
Yes.
loops, and therefore it would be less than 24 times the height of the truck.
And somehow in
But
my
that wouldn't be a
mind-
cylinder. That would be like a disc with a
Yes.
hole in the middle.
Yes, like a donut.
Yeah.
A flat donut.
Yeah, like a torus.
Okay. Sure. I'll
Yeah,
take it
it's called
credit
torus.
That just sounds so much like Matt Parker to me.
Yeah, well,
I know. I feel like because I was listening to the podcast and I'm pretty sure that
Really?
came up. Like I went back to the start and I was listening through.
did you? You actually?
Yeah, really. I'm up to episode 12. They've
Aw.
just continued to make a new season.
Do you remember where, is this your card came from? Or was that not?
No, that's not
That's
happening.
like, that was like episode 18 or something. Because they couldn't remember where it came from, and they're like, we're not going to bother going back and checking. We're going to
Someone else
we're going to get you to tell us.
She's just gotten her hamster.
Oh, pudding.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're
Fair
about to have the whole but she's issued the first
Oh, pudding square.
pudding squared, yep.
Mhm.
And they're about to go into the whole debacle of it not being a child.
Right, right. Did you want to explain the first pudding square?
No, you explain that because
I can't remember.
I
It was
don't
episode
remember it.
12.
Okay, well you mentioned it. I don't know what it was.
Wasn't it something about how far can a hamster run in a single night?
Oh, right, yeah. So if you have a hamster can run 9 kilometers a night on average.
Right.
So if you were, and obviously her hamster isn't running around, it's in its pen at night, and it's got a wheel. And
Yeah.
she wanted to know how many times,
How many revolutions of the wheel
how many revolutions of the wheel,
would be enough exercise for the
yes,
hamster?
which obviously depending on the size of the wheel, the
Yeah.
circumference, and then just
So
make that
she gave
to-
specific measurements for the wheel she was talking about.
Yeah.
Her specific wheel. So we knew like the internal diameter of the wheel, so we knew how far it was for each revolution.
Yes, and it's actually very simple to work out as I think about it, but obviously it's meant for a kid, so
Yeah, it's just like a simple division problem.
yeah.
Divide the distance by the internal circumference of the thing and you get the revolution.
Cool. Should we continue with life?
I think we're on to other stuff now. I think we've lost life. It's gone.
Catapulted out of the window.
Nothing, yeah, I don't know.
We used to have that catapult. There's a tree in the way now.
Lost me now. What were we talking about? Oh, math stuff, that's right. I was thinking about that rather simple problem, and then I was thinking about like optimization problems with differential calculus.
Because of uni?
A little bit, yeah. I've been rehashing some of the stuff that I learned at one point and going back to it. It's strange. It's like some of the same stuff, but also some different. Some of it's easy, some of it's like this is stupid.
Pointless? Or
No,
tiring?
like stupidly hard.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know, uni is so weird. Like, some stuff is just easy and you don't understand how people aren't getting it. And then some stuff is like so, like,
Outside
far-fetched.
of your-
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
Okay, I really loved maths at school, but I have no idea if it was just because of the teacher or because of when I was learning.
It was 100% because of your teacher.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm always like, oh, as soon as I finished the hardest level of maths at high school, I was like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, maths, what beauty. And then I actually, if I have to sit down and do it, just like simple maths now, I'm like, oh, it's too hard.
there's an interesting thing there. So like, you need the skills to be able to apply them in the situation, and you really only develop those skills through practice. The practice can get so tedious and boring and annoying.
I like the practice if it's simple and I get it already. I can just like zone out and do it, and it's like meditative.
So here's the thing: I get it. At which point I don't like
Just
doing
do
it because I get it and I get it right 100 times out of 100. But then I don't think about it for 2 weeks, and I
And
come back
you
and I'm like,
don't get
ah, shit. Well, I might get it, but it takes me too long. And standardized testing is you gotta do it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem I have.
Fair enough. I don't know, it's been a bit weird this last
So unless you like keep up with it, I mean that's a skill you gotta develop.
Pixie dust.
That's polar.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Paula. Boys allergic to pollen.
Yep. What joy.
Ooh, ah.
It's kind of nice out here.
It's nice chatting.
Glad we
Oh, yeah. Should we stop? Why is all your response? I don't know.
Should we open with Lumos and you end with Nux?
Yes. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. We're gonna do another one now.
Start again? No. I don't know.
Oh, I like that.
You do like that?
I don't know why. Like, I'm no longer obsessed with. Oh, I don't know. I'm no longer obsessed with Harry Potter, and were never obsessed with it, but you like the references.
Yeah.
That's actually no.
It's
I mean, we might have learnt about it through Harry Potter, but it's Latin, so she doesn't have claim over that.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Harry Potter is one of those very interesting stories where I feel like there's a perfect middle ground that you have to find.
Between liking it and
Yeah,
not being
and
obsessed
between
with
knowing enough.
about it, because it's
Yeah.
in general reference. I feel like that's the same with Star Wars and what's the other one? Lord of the Rings. Like, there are so many references in pop culture that you kind of are missing. You miss the subtext if you don't know enough about it.
I think Harry Potter is a very unique case based on the way it was written
Mm-hmm.
and the person who wrote it. George R. R. Martin, who wrote
Hungry.
that's Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Game of Thrones, yeah.
No, it's
Are you thinking about the Hunger Games?
no, Tolkien.
Tolkien, yeah.
Is it R. R. Tolkien? What is it?
No, it's TL. It's like L in it.
No. I was thinking George R. R. Martin for some reason because it's like
Tolkien was
it's
obsessed
J.R.R. Tolkien, isn't it?
with, maybe, yeah.
Sure, I don't know. No, I'm looking like an
He was
idiot.
obsessed with the world building of it, right?
Yeah,
the
and the linguistics and the songs and stuff.
Which makes it very hard for people to read.
And his story was pretty much like
I mean, it was the foundation of fantasy, like.
yeah. So,
Hidden
but
Fairy.
he had all these ideas and had already he already sort of knew the whole story when he started writing
Yes.
the first bit. So he knew the overarching story
Mhm.
and what happens before in the Silmarillion, what happens after and stuff. We never actually
Yeah.
before he started writing down specific details about certain events and certain characters.
Yeah.
Now, J.K. Rowling didn't have any of that. Still a perfectly legitimate way to write a story, right? But she started with the first one, and then she wrote the next one, and then she wrote the next one, and she had some vague ideas by her own. What's the word?
Admission, yeah.
Um,
She didn't know the full of it.
she
Or she was
she deliberately didn't necessarily plan
the,
too far. Like, she
in
planned
detail.
enough
the structure of it, so there was no.
so that she
there
had
was
the
no
free, so that
problems.
she had the freedom to write the
Yeah,
story she wanted
yeah.
to write as she was writing. She liked that freedom of creating something, finding it going a certain direction, and liking that.
Yeah.
Whereas Tolkien had his story and he was just fleshing out details.
Yeah.
The problem that causes is so many inconsistencies, so many retcons, so many other things.
Changing it later to.
Yeah, and there's so. What's interesting is I'm actually surprised she wrote such a cohesive story.
Oh, because of the way she did it. I feel like I read that she had more structure to it, and that might be why.
Maybe.
At least by the time,
But
like,
the other
the
thing,
second book, she kind of knew where it was headed.
I guess, but she definitely left herself open to interpretation,
Mm.
which is very useful because the amount of theories and stuff that you find online and whatnot that connect all these events I don't feel like she necessarily planned half of it.
Oh no.
But
definitely not.
people connect these events, and
That's
they are
the fun of
legitimately.
it.
Yeah, no. But they're legitimately convincing. Like
Yeah.
they're not just some pet theory somebody has. They're
They-
actually like that makes sense.
and it works with the canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that was planned or intended, or it just sort of like it didn't.
I feel like
It
that's
wasn't supposed to be that good.
yeah.
Like some stuff in there, you're like, that's really good. Other stuff, you're like, what the heck?
That's what makes it so.
I feel like on the whole, in both respects, it was average, and people's analysis of it has found the flaws
Mhm.
and exacerbated them, and found the unintended connections,
Mhm.
and made it seem like a lot better than it is. So there's people who hate it, probably justifiably because of all these weird flaws. There's people who love it for these other reasons, and then there's me who sees both and goes, it's good.
Yeah, I could read a good book.
Yeah. Although once you've read it enough, you I'm not
Oh, yeah.
I'm not actually interested in the specific stories and stuff anymore. I don't read the books, but
No.
I still do immerse myself in the world and like, you know,
Because-
other stuff.
What it did well was allow other people to become part of the community. It
Mm.
gave a connection. Everyone could. Oh, they had because it was a wide world, and she didn't cover most parts of it. You could go off on your own rants about what you believed happened, or create your own stories off of it. It kind of was like a centre thing that many people at a certain age could all share off of.
And because it's the real world plus this hidden world, it's sort of like a hidden world story, right? I know
Yeah.
you like hidden world stories.
Yeah.
As compared to like a straight fantasy world like Middle Earth.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily see other parts of Middle Earth because, like, what happens there? I don't know. But it's like in Harry Potter, okay, I don't live in the UK, but I can sort of extrapolate how it works
Yeah.
here in Australia. Yeah.
Mhm. Trying to make it. I don't know what I'm trying to make, but I'm making something. I find like I fiddle with everything
So, like,
constantly.
with these sticks, torture. Because I've just been doing this the whole video. And I don't know, the wind's picked up a bit, but I don't know if that's audio.
I mean, there's a thing.
That too.
It's probably gonna be horrendous, but who cares?
No, we're still talking.
Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Are you sick of talking to me already?
No.
Because as soon as we turn it off, we're going to keep talking. And you're going to go, I wish I filmed that.
Oh yeah, true.
Like 5 minutes before we turn the camera on. I wish I'd filmed that. I'm like, well, turn the camera on quicker.
The whole climbing up the tree house. And the,
I don't know, you should record that if you want. Oh my god. So the amount of, I'm not really in the video making space too much, right?
Mhm.
I enjoy watching stuff, but not necessarily creating stuff. And you sort of know that there's lots of stuff that you don't know about it and lots of work that goes into it and stuff. But the thing that gets me, and I notice it now, whenever I watch a TV show or like a home recorded something,
What, do
there
you
will
mean-
be stuff where like somebody walks past the camera or walks away from the camera or does something, right? And they're recording it by themselves. So then they've got to walk a bit and stop and
go
turn
back
around and
and
go
get it.
back for the camera
Oh my goodness.
and go
Okay.
back to where they're walking, and they just cut out that bit.
So
and so
I
it
watched-
looks cinematic. When you think about it, you go, that was a terrible walk because you had to keep backtracking every 5 seconds.
I watch
The
travel
camera.
videos and like hiking videos. Hiking videos are the worst.
I know,
They
you've gotta
literally
hike
at
the
the
trail
end
3
they show
times.
you footage of them coming back like 4 kilometers.
to get the camera.
Like there was this one where he set it up on these rocks and it was an ocean, like it's like a beach walk. So he hiked to the end with his backpack, had to drop his bag and come back.
All the way to the end of the beach.
It was a long beach.
Jeez.
But then there's also like the ones where people
At
were
what
driving
point? At what
somewhere.
point have you lost the detail in the camera that you just go back? Like, there was not people driving.
Like people driving and then you
Oh,
start the camera
and
and
you
you
see-
drive away.
and
then
you see the car literally come from 2 kilometers away.
and leave.
and you
Yeah, but
realise-
then they have drones and they send them up.
Yeah,
while
I know
they're
that
driving
now.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. But like, if it's like a roadside camera. But like
It's a hassle.
but even I notice in like professional TV shows, like for example, Bear Grylls, right? I don't know how much of it's a setup, probably most of it.
And how
But-
many there's a
But he
person
rocks up
there.
at the road, and feel like he rocks up often when a car is going past. When like you'd expect maybe has to wait like at least 6 hours. I don't know how they do that.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a setup car, but he gets in the car or whatever it is on the boat or whatever, and he drives off, and the crew that have been filming it have been left behind. So either somebody else or he's got to. If it is legitimately a hitchhiker that he's jumped in with,
Yeah.
he's got to convince them to turn back and either return him, or pick up the other 6 people, or I don't know. Like, it's a whole part of production.
But also, like, getting someone to flag down when you're being followed by, like, cameras, is that harder or easier?
I don't
Like,
know.
do people trust
I
you
feel like it
more?
must just be a setup, right? They must just
Yeah.
have a person that needs to be there at a certain time, in a certain place to pick them up.
I don't know.
People complain about Bear Grylls like, oh, he doesn't actually survive and eat out there. I'm like, okay, he spends most of his day filming, talking to camera. If he says something, like, you never see footage of him struggling to speak, right? He's had
Yeah.
to think about it, he's had to do it, it might maybe took multiple takes, right? That's most of your day. You can't spend all
Actually
day
surviving.
collecting food if you've got to spend most of the day talking to the camera about it,
Yes.
right?
And you're also
He's
getting
showing
paid,
you,
so your time is valuable, and you don't want to be wasting time out there. Like,
Yeah.
you can survive. You're not doing it to prove to yourself or to anything
Yeah.
like that. You're doing it to make the show, to make money.
you don't want to spend, you know, I don't know if the storyline says he spent 6 days, but maybe he only spent 3 during the film. But if
Yeah.
you can film in 3 days, you don't necessarily want to spend 6 days because it's cost.
Yeah. I like Ed Shearfield, the ones that
Sheffield.
well, I know, no,
So that's a place, isn't it? In
and
the
the
UK.
character.
Um,
It starts with S. I follow him on Instagram.
I know there's other people
after
that do it better and
Dad
do it more
and Mum
legitimately,
started watching it.
and people have debunked like Bear Grylls' particular survival strategies in the first place, and there's stuff like that. But one of the main arguments when the show was popular was, oh, he's not actually surviving out there, and I'm like, yeah, but like if he was, you wouldn't have a show to watch. So
And also the point is to teach you how, not to show you him doing it.
yeah, you can watch him doing it all day, and you sit there going, oh, yeah, I can do that, and then you walk out and you're like, okay, what do I do now? I saw him bend down and pick stuff up,
Yeah.
you know. I saw him
I want to get better
build
at
a
making
shelter,
them.
but I didn't see him. Oh, I chose this stick because it, you know, has this structure and integrity and easy to cut down, or you know, whatever.
I want to get better at building a fire.
Yeah.
I mean, just even when we do it here, I'm not great at it. I can do it, just a long time.
You know the best. You know, people are like, oh, have a flint and steel with you to start a fire. You know how cheap like a disposable lighter is. Seriously, fucking carry one of those in your bag, in your car, whatever. You know, somebody who smokes cigarettes, they never go without fire because they've got their bloody lighter on them 24/7. Or we were watching, you know what? It might have been a really, really sneaky reference that people would have gone, I love it and I hate it, but I love it. We were watching the new Tom Holland movie.
Yes, the Uncharted.
Uncharted, based on the video game Uncharted. Now, in the movie, he had a lighter. It was like some symbolic family heirloom thing. The problem was, the lighter was out of lighter fluid. So he kept flicking it,
And it
sparking the
wouldn't
flint,
turn.
and it wouldn't turn on because there's no fucking lighter fluid for it to light. And eventually he'd flick it enough that it would turn on. I'm like, that's not realistic. If it had fluid, it would have worked. If it doesn't have fluid, it wouldn't have worked. I don't know why it's being temperamental. Anyway, I'm thinking to myself, yelling the whole time, refill it with some fluid. Like, it's a couple of bucks at the store. You don't need much. Refill your lighter with some lighter fluid. I don't understand. But it wasn't a major plot point, but it was just a thing in the movie. I've just now had a realization, potentially that's a reference to the game, because there are some games out there that are poorly designed where, oh, you need a lighter, but you've run out of fuel, and you get to flick it 3 times to, you know, do some thing where you know, to burn a rope or something in the game or whatever. And then it runs out of fuel, and you can't burn another rope until you go find more fuel on the ground, right? That's some game mechanics do that. In fact, one of my favorite examples of that is a video game. I don't know what it was called, but I know there was a torch, and the game devs wanted this mechanic. You know, your torch doesn't have very good battery life, and so it runs out all the time, so you've always got to find more batteries. So it's like a horror game, right? So it's like you're oftentimes don't have a torch, or you've got to use it very sparingly, so you use it when you need it and you're not wasting the batteries. Or you've got to go out of your way off the beaten track where it might be more dangerous or whatever, or to find more batteries to then help you down the line. Except at the same time, for some reason, they got sponsored by, I don't think it was Duracell, but some battery company
Oh no.
to put their texture
On
in the
the
game
battery.
on the batteries.
Oh, the battery's so shit, it runs
And
out
the
after one
batteries,
use.
the batteries were really bad intentionally to make the game better, but it made the product look like shit.
When you were
It's
talking,
the funniest thing.
really bad ad placement. When When
Yeah.
you're talking about tortures, it reminded me when I went to do the Sherlock escape room.
Oh, yeah.
It was dark-ish,
Mhm.
moody, and you had a torch that they gave you at the start
Yeah.
to hunt around. It was brilliant escape room because there was no text. Like, it was just
Mm.
unlocking things, decoding things, and putting in numbers. But you're hunting around with this torch, but there's one torch and there's two of us. She
No.
couldn't see anything.
You couldn't see.
And I took the torch because I was looking at the video and she was trying to find the things.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Like, over here with a
You
torch.
sort
here
of
we go.
need to give both if you got two people in the room like that.
Oh, okay. The only point we had two issues with the game, with the
Escape room.
escape room.
Yeah.
Like, it took a while to do it, but it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
But there were two issues. One, we had to turn these wheels to get this pipe to start moving. You had to turn them at the same time, and it would lower this, raise this thing in the middle, and you could grab it. Otherwise, it was stuck.
Yep.
And there was two green parts on the wheels, like to turn the wheel and then on the, what's the thing on the car? The dial. Anyway, we're spinning them and we get into the green. We're like, oh, this is it. It starts moving and then it stops. I'm like, huh. And it stops. I'm like, oh, we must be missing
You
something.
had to keep spinning them for like
For 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I
Too
was,
long.
like, we were doing it and we were like, oh, we must be missing something. We must be doing something else first.
Yeah.
So then we stopped and we had to call for help like 5 minutes later. Oh, keep spinning them. Oh my god. Keep spinning, finally did it. And then we got into like the final room and there was all these buttons, red buttons on the wall, but you had to hit them as they lit up. But we also had like these electronic things we had to clip in to make these things work.
Mhm.
So we clipped them in and it was like in the wrong order. And we're like, oh, so we tried to figure out the order. And then, because we'd already hit the buttons for a while and nothing had happened.
Mm.
Turns out we had to keep hitting the buttons until the first light lit up, and then we had to do it all the time until the fourth light had lit up. And it took like 15 seconds on the last
Hello,
last light.
Parrot. For the one last button.
On the last light to put, and then capitals or cities, countries in the world would flash on these little dots, and it was like Nepal and Spain, and the order it flashed in was north, south, east, west, because the terminals we had to plug these things in were in north, south, different ones. Gave you the order, and then we did it, and then we got to the end, we had to put the key in, and then we turned it, and the door didn't open properly, so we didn't realise we had finished.
That's right. Yeah.
Two parrots.
Two little parrots, don't poop on me.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Get that on footage. Where are they gone? Hello, Padfoot. I was also having thinking about bad placement, bad ad placement, good ad placement earlier.
Mhm.
Specifically in relation to video games, one of the best ad placements I've ever seen in a video game, Rocket League. Now I know there's other sports games that are probably similar, but sports games in general are shit, right?
Yeah.
Rocket League is only good because you've got the concept of a competitive game that everyone can understand at a glance. Oh, it's soccer, right? But you have the actual interesting part of it being with
Being in the
vehicles, right? Instead of like a simulation where you've got 6 guys and you switch between which one you're controlling and you push A to kick the ball, push A, kick the ball. Rocket League, you've got to line up your car like you're actually playing a 3D space game, right? It's hard, but it's rewarding when you get good at it. Anyway, best ad placement is in these sport type of games where the ads are what you would see in a realistic sporting context. So for example, in the stadium,
Like
above
on-
the
yeah,
grandstand
yeah.
or
On
by the
the-
edge of the field
yeah.
or behind the goal or something, there's a screen with an ad. Now Rocket League will put in ads for like their upcoming content or their new update or something else by the same developer or you don't notice it when you play. It blends into the background, so it's not a competitive disadvantage, but it is still technically there. Which is weird because people who are actually really into the game don't notice it ever because they're focused on the game. But people who aren't are the ones that notice it,
You're like,
which are probably less likely to buy it because they're
It's not the target
not
audience.
into the game that much.
Yeah.
I don't know, but either way, that's the best ad placement I've ever seen in a game because it makes sense in context because it's simulating the real world.
Yeah. It's just as part
There's
of
similar
the-
stuff in like
yeah,
open
yeah.
world games. Like I haven't played Cyberpunk 77, but I'm assuming there's like sci-fi advertisements and stuff in the sci-fi city. It makes it more realistic.
And if there were real ad plays.
But like GTA 5 and San Andreas, I'm not sure that I haven't specifically noticed the ads. Neither have I played either of those games really. But I'm assuming they're similar. Like it actually makes the city feel more alive and more realistic. And you could realistically put your own ads in there, about your actual out-of-game stuff, not just in-world stuff. But that's
Would
just me.
would anyone pay for it? Would people want to notice? I have a problem with like I don't know how to feel about videos. Ads in like videos on YouTube, like not the ads on
Mid-roll
from the
ads.
channel, but like the sponsorship ads. Like they just come up. Different people will put them in different spots in their videos.
Yeah,
right?
when people actually make the actual video have sponsors.
They have sponsors. So if you're not paying for it, not only are you watching the ads that YouTube's putting on, but then you're watching. You might watch the ad only to have this section about another ad, and then have to watch another ad to keep watching. I don't know because you've got premium. But I conflicted between like if I were to do it, would I? I mean, if you're doing it for your income, for your job, like you need the income. But like how I would put it in, and if I would be willing to put it into my videos, because sometimes it's just so jarring. You're like, oh, it's really cool. Like there's ones that people do skits, who like have their skit at the start and have another skit at the end because it's entertaining and it's just extra content from them. But other people which are like,
Yeah, most of the channels I follow are very good channels in terms of the content they make, the way the video style and stuff, which is the reason I follow them. And those channels tend to be very good at doing the sponsorship thing.
Yeah.
Channels I don't watch very much, but occasionally something will pop and recommend. I go, oh, that's interesting. I'll watch it for a bit. Video's mediocre, and then they have a really jarring, or really pushy, or really bad sponsorship ad or something, and I just turn it off because it's done really bad. But that is representative of the quality of the rest of the video, which was meh, fine, right? People who make really good stuff get around it because they make it really good. Whether that's do it at the very end, do it at the very start, do it very briefly, make a skit, make it funny, just have it, you know, whatever, right? Or somebody like, I don't know if you watch Fact Fiend, which is a channel.
Yes, I've seen some of it.
But you listen to them talk about how they've done sponsorships and stuff, and it's very interesting. Just because they, first of all, mostly don't do sponsorships. And then when they do a sponsorship, it's like, they like letting, they mostly get sponsored by like individuals or small businesses or whatnot. People who have, and people who have contacted them almost personally to their business address and been like, hey, can you put a video? But it's people who watch their channel, know their channel, because their thing is like, we're not going to cater to you, we're not going to whatever. Like, we like talking about interesting stuff, and we like, they record like an hour-long footage of them just talking about whatever. More planned than this, way more planned than this. But he does go off on tangents, and he knows a lot of stuff because he, Carl Smallwood used to be the head writer for lots of like Today I Found Out and all those other channels.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was one of the main
so
writers
he was researching it all
for years. When he started his channel, he used to, in fact, what he usually used to do is go back and read the articles he wrote because it's his property.
Yeah.
Like,
his works.
I don't know the legality. I think he sold the video. I don't know what he sold to them, but I feel
he just wouldn't use the exact same words, and they'd be fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that content's free information from the world.
It is true. He just researched it on Google, right? Yeah. So I suppose he's entitled to do that. He would say to these individuals, possibly, you know, pick a topic and we'll talk about that. So they get to pick a nice topic that they want to talk about, but he gets to talk about it however he wants. And then at the end he'll say, oh, you know, it's sponsored by whatever, and here's a link or something. You know, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, so they like, he's like, these are the videos is it like these are the videos I'm doing, the topics I'm doing. You pick one you want your video in. Or your topic. Is that what you mean?
No, I don't know. I think he will make a specific video for them.
Yeah.
For their thing.
Because that's the same as, well, not the same, but like this is my perspective on it is like a lot of the stuff I want to create is more like it's either like a memory journal entry for me, so I don't really want something in the middle of it, I guess, in that point. Or if it's like, and it's often like an artistic expression, and you don't want like the ad in the middle of the thing, or you're like, will I compromise on this? And obviously I'm not in the position to determine whether I would.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious about it.
Let me check if that's still on.
It is, but I can check.
And you know, there's a little light on the background.
No, just assume it is.
Just assume it is.
Did I not press the button correctly?
No, but like it could have turned off, or I don't know.
No, it's good.
Stuff happens.
I know.
The amount of videos I watch where it cuts and goes, fuck, my camera died and I've been talking for half an hour and I've got to re-record.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I almost did it again. It's fine, I'm fine. Like if I leaned back, I'm like not. It's still scary.
You're lucky there's a chair here to begin with. I was opposed to the idea.
Was it Bootsma?
No. You know what? I want you to guess who it was. You're not going to be able to guess who it was.
Nick.
If I said yes, but no.
Dad.
No, not Dad.
Nick. It wasn't Nick's original idea, he just pushed it?
No.
Your idea?
No. Oh, Nick did it.
Yes, okay.
But Nick didn't do it.
So confused. I swear it was Bootsma, because I remember coming up and him screwing it down.
No, it was not Bootsma. It was me and this kid. Yeah.
The other Nick from year 8.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I knew it looked like Brisma, like the scrawny
Oh,
little
yeah,
boy.
Brisbane was small back then, to be
Yeah.
fair.
I haven't been up here in ages.
What?
I don't know, I come up here and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a new edition. But that was when you were in year 8.
New edition, the chair.
Like, no, I mean, it's not new anymore.
Weren't they blue at one point?
Yeah, it looked very out of place when you first.
Yeah, compared to the rustic look of the rest of the logs.
It's so crazy to me that when we were building this, like when I was like 5, it just seemed like so far away. Does it seem like that to you?
Far
I
away
was like from the house. Yeah, because you weren't allowed
what?
to go wander off by
20
yourself.
meters?
Until you can literally see the. I'm pretty sure you can see the bricks in the video.
It's not even 100 meters. Like literally 20 meters.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was more bush.
I'm actually terrible at estimating distances in meters. I don't know why.
I always just say. I always somehow interject miles into my everyday language.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems more like
in our English, miles means
distance.
a lot.
Yeah,
It just means a lot.
yeah. It
A
does.
lot of distance. It doesn't actually have a specific value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My butt's getting sore.
A lot of accents. So it's funny to lean back on. There we
See, I'm leaning back and then I'm sitting on my tailbone.
go. I'm not gonna push you off the edge.
I know. But like there is like a little gap there.
There's a rock screwed on top of that post.
I was looking at it before, I couldn't make that.
We shall see.
Shall see if that happens. Oh, should we go and make cake?
The icing.
Yeah.
You want to film it? Did you film yourself baking?
No.
Why not?
Because
How could you not?
I just need
Film everything. Attach a GoPro to your eye socket and look through it when you live.
Oh, that'd be too much content. It's gotta be selective.
Get those Google glasses so you see what you see.
Oh, I mean that'd be really cool to see from your perspective, but also.
You know, back in the day, when I say back in the day, I was younger and there were kids that were probably only 15. You know, you have a warped perception of what people look like.
And how old they
Like if you think back to you being in year 4 or whatever.
Oh, I got a good story about this.
If you think back to you being in year 4 and you envision what a year 6 student looks like,
They're like,
they're like 24,
yeah,
aren't they?
they're just like
Right?
out of this universe. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to be that age.
But you look now and you're like, how old are you?
I have a problem like this, like, because it still feels like I was just in primary school and I'm finishing high school. But then I have finished high school.
Yeah.
And then, but there's so many. I've lost most of those memories now, but they still feel like very recent and very far away at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going.
I was talking.
About what you were trying to elevate that feeling. I first felt that feeling of them being like
No,
more
I was
than
telling a
24.
story. I was telling a
Yeah,
story.
finish your story.
I remember the story now. I was telling a story about somebody who, when I was young, in my brain, they're like my age. They must have been younger than I am now.
Yeah.
But they feel like they were older than I am now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I'll always
it was
be a
back in the
child, even when I'm
time
24.
when they had managed to find some glasses. I don't think they needed glasses. I think they just found some frames. And they had like the smallest camera they could get, which was like, this is gonna be something really bad, really bad. I was gonna say it's the size of, you know, those little film, those black film cases, but that's even older. Anyway, it was like a little.
Like the film they used to record on, the camera's smaller than that.
Anyway, that was about the size, and he'd like glued it or taped it to the side of the glasses,
This is how old we are now.
and it had a cord, and it went to like a thing that recorded it,
Oh my goodness.
and he used it to play like Nerf or something, so you could record his Nerf battles and watch them back. The footage was
Oh
like
my
terrible.
goodness. That was
Plus, whenever he moved his head, the camera
Yeah,
would go bang.
Yeah, oh, bang against the glasses.
No,
just, like, blur.
No, like the camera would be blurry and awful, and you couldn't possibly. You'd feel so motion sick watching the video.
Because I remember that, just a feeling of like, oh my god, this is so old. I remember it was before dance one day when I was like must have been like year 1 or year 2 because I was out on the playground because Mum was still working at school, and I was just playing around. I think dance had ended and I was still waiting for Mum to go home. And there was these older boys playing on the playground, and they came up and they're like, "Oh, what's your name?" And my name is Monique. And they tried to spell it, and they put a KU at the end. And I just remember like looking, they're probably like year 4, and I was like, oh my god, they're so old. I don't want to be that old. Like they were talking about they were about to go
You know
off to
what?
high
We've
school.
circled back around to life.
Yeah.
It only took us an hour.
they were about to go off to high school, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to go off to high school. They're so old. That's like 4 years away, and that was.
To be fair, at that time, 4 years was like most of
Most
your
of my life. Yeah, I was writing about this today actually, because I'm going to make a video about time.
the paradox of like
Of growing
every
older.
year. Yeah, every year feels shorter because it's a smaller percentage of the life you've lived.
Yes, but I was going to focus more on the emotional damage that does to you than the reasoning behind why it is. And then also like, I really don't want it to. Can you actually slow it down in some ways, or are you just like unable to? I don't know. I'm reading The Art of Happiness is sending me down a spiral. Dalai Lama.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
No, we are back to life.
To be fair, I just feel like I'd get so much more done if I didn't have to sleep. Like if I didn't get tired,
And it didn't actually help the brain.
and I could just stay awake. Yeah, like I didn't get, or maybe like a power nap. Rather. Like sleep for 1 hour and feel like I've rested 10.
Well,
Or actually wake up fucking rested in the morning. Even if it okay, let's say I have to get 8 hours sleep. But I know that when I wake up, I will feel rested, no matter what.
I got 12 hours of sleep last night, and I'm not sure I felt rested.
Well, exactly. Like
But that's
but if you get too much, then it's not good either.
Well,
It's like,
Albert Einstein, he used to sleep 10 hours a day, and then at night, and then would come back after lunch, after work, and have a power nap, and then continue working. So he would get like 11 to 12 hours of sleep. I just reckon we need more sleep, and that's why I'm sitting outside, because I don't want for this week, few days, because it's just so much. You go to bed from the sun, but you don't because you're doing stuff. Your sleep schedule's just messed up. That's why you're not getting rest.
I need to change my work schedule just because my uni schedule works a little bit later.
No.
I could quite happily be a night owl and wake up at 10 a.m. and then go to sleep at 2 and then get 8 hours
But
sleep.
do you do work at night? Do you
Yeah.
actually do work at night? Okay. But that's just not how.
But I've got to be
life
up for
even
uni.
functions.
Yeah, like my uni schedule doesn't work, and
Yeah.
like if I could reschedule my classes, I probably would, but
Or you could just reschedule work.
which I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. See how it goes. Okie dokie. I want to go have some cake.
Okay, I'm getting cold.
Do you want to?
I don't know. We didn't start with that.
Oh, okay. We'll do it next time. Bye.
Bye. How long?